Unless you've been hiding under a rock, you understand the importance that AI, and especially voice AI, is going to have on businesses and agencies in 2025. We actually just sat down with the co-founders of some voice AI companies and did a short presentation on what you can expect, all the cool things that you never even knew were going to be possible in the next year that you can bring right now to either your agency to resell it to other small businesses or to your small business itself if that's what you're looking to do. So you want to stay ahead of the game. If you want to understand what it is that's going to be coming down the pipeline in 2025 for voice AI, then this one's for you. So without further ado, let's go watch the training. I'll see you in there. Let's get shit done.
Let's get started with what's on the agenda today, which is voice AI in 2025, what to expect. And as you know, when it comes to 2025 and the end of the year, we're looking at into 2024 and at the end of the year, we want to look forward, what to expect. And as you guys are now in the forefront of AI, and especially the voice AI, I thought what not better than to talk about this. But I want to remind everybody who we are. And our vision is really to simplify useful AI solutions for the world. I just came back from, about a week and a half in LA, hanging out with Rahul, Cody, and Reza, and we really ironed out this, vision very clearly and articulated it. That this is what we want to do. We want to take simple, useful AI solutions, and we want this to be something that we think of that can be used anywhere, wherever you are in the world. And that's the vision that we're holding ourselves to. But our mission is to create plug and play AI solutions for businesses. I think that's really important. The idea of taking AI and being able to have it plug and play and be something that businesses can use with ease. That is what we're aiming. That's what our mission is to do. That's what we're going to wake up every morning and work towards. All right. Now you've all met, I hope, Ava. And if you haven't, this is our AI voice platform. This is where you can do your inbound, outbound calling. We've made it as simple, but the key word here is not just simple. We've made it useful, right? So you can take our solutions and start using them in business context situations right away within minutes. And this is a huge differentiator for how we think and approach all problems. There are companies out there that do a lot of things. We're going to do one thing, which is AI voice. And that's what you're going to see us specialize in. That's what's going to be our differentiator. And that plug and play, that simplicity and creating useful solutions is what we aim to do. Now we integrate into CRMs. GHL, I always say, is our first integration, but it's not going to be our last. You can count on that. As the new year rolls out, you'll hear more and more about where we're going and what's going to happen, and you'll be able to take advantage of that. But voice AI in 2025, what to expect? There are 3 trends that I'm going to talk to you about, and I've identified these trends from the lens of looking at voice AI. There are lots of different trends out there that I'm not going to cover here that you're going to see, such as ethical AI, a lot of questions about spreading it, distribution. But what I want to talk about are these 3 areas. One is the adoption of AI voice in 2025. The second is this idea of AI autonomous agents. When we talk about autonomous agents, do you guys know what autonomous agents are? It's the idea that there's decision-making agents that can do things on your behalf. This is something to watch for in 2025, that the power of AI is going to become stronger because they're going to be able to do and have the autonomy to make these individual decisions. For example, should it go out and schedule an appointment at this time on your behalf based on just having the context of when your calendar is made? You will start seeing that there'll be trends where they head in this direction. Augmented working is a huge trend. You're no longer going to go into your workforce and work just alone. You will have your AI buddy with you, or your AI assistant, as some people like to call it. And that is going to happen through various mediums, through different distribution channels, and different ways in which you work. When I talk about the adoption of AI voice, I'm going to show out the staggering number to you. 8 billion voice assistants will be used globally by 2025. That's going to be almost as many people in the world using, and more people in the world using having a voice assistant than the actual number of people. That is massive, and it's going to be commonplace. It's going to be something that everybody's going to use. I was having this conversation with a real estate agent friend of mine, and I was talking to him about the AI voice work that we're doing, and his reaction to what I was talking about when I said, we're going to have AI voice calling, was first, no, if I hear AI voice, I just put down the phone. And I said to him, you won't be able to do that 6 months from now because you're going to lose too many leads and too many business opportunities because everybody is going to be using AI voice. And his reaction was, what do you mean? He goes, you're right. I go, yes, the way you're thinking is like a dinosaur. You have to come and move into the world of where we are today, because today, and it's evident when you see the adoption of AI voice. Now, this AI voice spread is not just going to be through your phone. They're going to happen through lots of different ways. And these are three takeaways that I want you to take away from this. One, these assistants are going to be mainstream. They're going to change and be everywhere within the contact centers. So if you're thinking about a niche and how to work, contact centers are going to be massive. There's no more going to be this triaging happening in the beginning without AI voice, because there's no need to. As these AI technologies become stronger and smarter and more intelligent, it's going to transform all of the customer service experience, regardless of the niche that you're working within. The other trend to watch for is more websites are going to incorporate both AI chatbots and conversational widgets. And in fact, 41% of smart device users will utilize voice searches frequently, all the time. And you can think of these as, when you walk into your house, this could be your home center. I know Rahul's setting up a massive new home center, so he's going to walk in and use his voice to turn on the lights. But even beyond turning on the light, he's going to be able to, again, this is where the autonomous agents come into it. Imagine you walk into your house, Rahul, and you're going to be able to say, I'm home for the night, and I want this, this, and this, and this. This could be, I want to know, have I got any voice calls? What is the sports game already started? And did you hear from my friends? Are they coming over? Right? Give you a very simple. These are all autonomous agents that are going to go off and answer back. And then the medium in which you're going to hear that back is through that beautiful new audio system that you're going to install in your house that's going to talk back to you and say, of course, Rahul, you have nobody called you, but all your friends have confirmed except, Larry, because Larry couldn't make it tonight. Larry was out doing something else. He apologizes gratuitously. These are going to be the types of experiences that we're going to have, and it's going to become mainstay. And what's going to happen as a result of these experiences is that people are going to feel very, very comfortable using and talking and interacting with AI voice. Now, why is this going to happen? When you look at what's happening with the technology, with what the capabilities and the future of voice AI means, we're going to have more enhanced capabilities. AI voice is going to become more and more human-like. That integration, that experience that I just described, means that AI voice is going to be everywhere. It's going to be pervasive. Our comfort is going to be there. But did you notice something else that I just did inside of that conversation where I talked about it? I personalized it. I talked about Rahul. Well, guess who else is going to know Rahul? Because it's going to be present every day. Your AI agent, your AI voice is going to know you. It's going to know how you speak, how you talk, and it's going to start understanding your multilingual capabilities as well. It's going to understand the nuances. So if you're out in Canada, out east, and you say, what are you at by? It's going to know that means, hey, that means, how are you? Right? So I didn't know that when I first went to the East Coast. And it's going to understand different terminologies that are used in your household, right? So everybody, and this is going to make it extremely personalized. This is because there's going to be a lot of advancements in the overall, I don't want to get too much into the tech, but the technology that you're going to see that's going to come out here is more and more advanced, something called natural language, NLU, right? And that's going to get stronger and stronger. These networks, these neural networks, are going to get into a place where it's going to understand things that it could not before. And it's going to be learning continuously in the background. And what that's going to mean is there's going to be emotional intelligence in these voice assistants. They're going to understand when you're talking and when your pitch is a little bit low, or when you might be crying, or you might be happy. It's going to understand that on two levels. One, it's going to understand how you're feeling. Two, it's going to respond to you in a way that it understands also. And it's going to chuckle, and it's going to laugh, and it's going to say things, and it's going to feel again more and more human-like. And it's going to be able to autonomously and almost automatically manage the dialogue and communication that it has with you. And there's already, you can see some of this within the world of ChatGPT. If you've used some of the new advanced AI voice calling, you can see some of that capability coming out. Now, one of the things that I will talk about here also that hasn't been yet presented is that the cost of AI voice and the type of technology is going to do this in the beginning, right, guys? Because whenever you come with a new technology, there's an initial cost for the investment cost of it, right? But as more and more people adopt it, when you have 8 billion people using it, what's going to happen? It's going to go do this, right? It's going to normalize, and the cost will come down, and this will make it more pervasive, more people using it. So you guys are in the right place at the right time. But when I talk all about this, I wanted to summarize it with this concept of personalization in the future. It is going to be enhanced. It's going to provide, more data analysis in real time. So it's not just like, oh, crunching data. It's in real time going to process. And this is going to happen because there's something that's happening in the background that some of you might have heard about maybe 10 years ago and thought it disappeared, but it didn't. And it's called quantum computing. Quantum computing is emerging now. And quantum computing is going to give the ability for basically all of your computers that you have right now to work at an exponential ability. And that's going to make it possible to do this in real time. I've talked about emotional intelligence, but number 4 here is contextual awareness. I talked about when I started to have the vision of Thinkrr.ai and AI voice in the very beginning, I had this vision of it assisting me through very complex household items because I'm not a very good handyman. And I was like, you know what? I need somebody to come over and help me to kind of fix this thing in my house. And I was imagining using the contextual awareness of the problem that I was trying to fix with also the context of where I live, location, so I could find somebody who's just speaking to my glasses or whatever that new AI integrated technology is, whether it's my home assistant, and it telling me, you know what, there are 5 people that can come to your house in the next hour, and these are the costs, and who do you want to come? And me saying, oh, recommend to me the person who has the best rating. Great. That's number 3. Fantastic. When can they be here? In an hour. How much do they charge? Great. And you know what? This is the other thing, biometrics is going to happen with voice as well. I can authorize with my voice payment and confirm the schedule. This is all upon us in the next very, very short time with personalization. And of course, multi-channel integration. This is not going to just happen on your phone, on your website, but it's going to happen in your vehicles. It's going to happen in the way you augment your clothing, whether it's a pendant you wear or whether it's a watch you have on. There's going to be this multi-channel integration and they're going to know each other and talk upon that. It is a super, super exciting time to be in AI voice. And AI voice, I'm calling it right now in 2025, is going to be kind of like the rock kid, the rock star. Everybody's going to be talking about it. And as you're using it and selling it and enabling it in your business, you're going to find that this is something that is going to just catch even more fire than it is right now. And my overall takeaway message here is we're still early. There are a lot of adopters, but guess what you better be doing in 2025? Better hustle, because there's a lot of people that are going to want AI voice. So that was my introduction. I'm going to open it up to people, both for questions about the topic of AI voice in 2025, but also open it up to questions about anything you have with respect to Ava and your work.
Right. Okay. Let's go into Q&A.
Yeah. Hi, guys. Thanks, Mohan. And thanks, Rahul. I'm curious because there's no doubt about it. These different interactive agents are going to come into play. Do you finding right now in your early looks at them, are you finding them at like to kind of make one that really good at one thing and just do it and then pass it off to another one and then really good at that one, pass it off to another one? Is that kind of way forward? And extending one step beyond that, how about the actual AI engines? Because we're ChatGPT 4o, Omni, whatever, they're all coming. But let's be honest. I mean, if I'm going for marketing stuff, I'm going with Claude. I mean, it's just way better. I mean, it just is.
I don't know about that
So,
with the
that's my question is the engines.
I actually went back to ChatGPT for some of my marketing materials, and I've been really impressed with the way the tone has improved tremendously in the last weeks. I don't know if you've tried it in the last few weeks, but they did a recent update. And I think that that's exactly the point, is that the evolution and the speed at which these upgrades are happening at the LLM level, which you're talking about, which powers the heart of these AI voice experiences that we're having, that's only getting exponentially better, Bill. So you asked me a question about how do you approach from a strategical point of view, building out your agents, right? And you do want to build out an agent that's good, but you're going to have the power of these LLMs that's going to, all of a sudden you're going to wake up one morning and it's going to be like you had a magic serum and that agent now is 10x more smarter. And that's just going to happen because that engine is getting so much smarter. And that's, thanks to the good friends at Google and OpenAI and, Mistral, depends wherever you're going to get your model. All of these are getting exponentially better all the time as they add more and more parameters. And then, like I said, what's really, and this is the part that's scary that people don't yet fully comprehend, is this is without quantum computing. Once we have quantum computing into this is a game changer, and it will happen, and it's on the precipitory part of it. Probably more of it's going to happen in the latter part of 2025, but all of the investments are there. I also didn't talk about energy. Energy is another key trend to be watching out. As the energy controls come into play and we start seeing more and more of that, that's going to be actually what's going to stop the growth of AI, if anything, is the fact that these AI engines, as you call them, I use your language, Bill, are consuming a lot of energy and a lot of water, right? So that's why you're seeing new and new energy, innovative energy technologies to come more and more to the forefront.
Well, I think there's already nuclear. I think Microsoft and Amazon, they're already buying their own nuclear plants. I mean, they kind of have to, right?
They are, and what's very, very cool is that they're using something called a fourth generation of nuclear technology. And this technology is really, really small, self-contained, and uses like a fraction of the amount of water that we consume today when we do our ChatGPT back and forth.
Specifically regarding Ava, when we're asking the questions, what I'm trying to figure out is within Ava, we have the Apple idea. That's what you call it. I'm using your words. I'm Android, sorry, but I mean, I know what you mean, though. I know exactly what you mean. But what I'm curious about is there the possibility, or have you considered like throwing up almost like a semi back-end advanced mode? Because there's some things that we're using in a prompting thing that we don't know what's underneath it. So we're getting confusing, to be honest, we're getting confusing stuff from what we had been using. And I'm just curious if you had thought about like a quick little advanced mode or something and let somebody in there. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yes and no. It'll still not be fully exposed and be like you can go to town with it. But we believe that there's a scenario that we need to create that's going to give you, it's more for the advanced user, let's call it, right? It's still going to have certain guardrails like how to handle IVR and how to handle voicemail and things like that. But it's going to be a bit more like use this with your own kind of gut caution, right? But remember our mission again, because we still believe that that can be a plug and play situation. One of the scenarios that we're working on that should be, within a week or two released to you is something you guys all have been asking for, which is also heading in that same direction, Bill, which is the ability to now have a call, have a free-flowing call, and then send a link to start off with or some kind of information via either an email or SMS as follow-up to that call, right? And that's our first foray into this direction. And we're going to watch how that works, and then we're going to iterate and then come up with more and more advanced ones that can give you more and more capabilities. But because we believe in the plug and play model and we want to make this for not developers, right? Our target is not developers. When I say Android, I kind of think of like, the technologically kind of people
I know.
and kind of make it happen. But it is for the business people to be able to just go out there, and for you guys here as agencies to really be rapidly deploying AI voice technology to your consumer base. And again, remember, if you're going to prioritize what you're doing in the first half of 2025, you're going to want to prioritize penetration, market share. And this is what our entire aim is, to help you guys do that, right?
Yeah. Okay. And one last quick one. How about a brand voice idea? Brand voice serving as the underlying engine for a lot of the agents that you would build. Again, throwing just that out there. And that'll be my final one, I promise.
Yeah. Speaking of voices, we're going to be adding I think 15 new voices tomorrow morning when you wake up. So you're going to see brand new voices, including a French accent from Quebecois and tone for yourself.
Hey, I try one, and it's like
it's coming out.
Yeah, it's really nice.
So this is the truth. At the airport, Reza was trying out the French voice, and he forgot that he had set out this French voice he chose in the new one. And he picked it up, and he thought he was, for the first 30 seconds, talking to a real human being. It was that good. And then he realized that it was a call that he had set up himself with the AI. So yeah, they sound great. I'm really excited to see what you guys think. Yeah. So Dana,
Yeah, we've been talking about voice, and you had mentioned chatbots a few minutes ago. Would you talk about what the use of AI chatbots versus voice? Because I'm having a hard time wondering why somebody would even want a chatbot these days when we have voice.
I think the use case for chatbots are going to exist absolutely. I don't think they're going to ever really go away because there's so many situations where you don't want to have to speak out loud, right? And you're in a, whether you're like, just think of the fact that, the same situation, you're at an airport and there's a lot of people around you. You can't even hear if you go on the phone. Of course, there's noise cancellation. But again, there's definitely that mode where you just want a quick answer for something and you're interchanging, where it will be absolutely useful. Also, some people like to read and absorb content better that way. So there'll be the ability to do that. Um, the other thing is when you think of chatbots, we think of it almost literally, right? To me, what the output of a chatbot is text. So if you're thinking of text, text can be read by not just human beings, but what else? Other machines, right? So that has a huge power when you're building a network of agents and you're trying to build a system of autonomy. It's going to absolutely play a big part still. It's not going away anywhere. And they'll see them on websites, of course. You'll see them, but also in the back end being consumed by these chatbots, right? Actually, at the heart of even AI voice is text.
So should this modify the way that we approach a business?
Again, you have to pick a lane. You got to pick a lane, Dina. You can be both, but remember that I think there's a lot of value when you've got 8 billion AI voice assistants that are going to be out there by 2025. I think there's a very strong reason to just lean really, really strong in one direction. And I'm myself am leaning into the AI voice platform, but not
Yeah,
because
that's all.
Yeah.
That's all that I want to hammer. There's one more question. I think that I had requested this earlier as far as when do you expect we might be able to get website scraping, and with the website scraping, putting on a voice widget on somebody else's website for show and tell? It would be a really good leverage to help sell it, I think.
Yeah. I'm calling it right now that that's going to be your new year kind of game changing strategy. So that's when you're going to have it. I just answered your question, I hope.
Yep, I'm looking forward to the new year. January 1st.
Giving you some new toys to go into the new year with.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The question I have is with the incredible fast advancement of all the AI and the competitors and so forth, what is it that you guys are doing to stay on the leading edge of that and give us a competitive advantage? Because it's a blue ocean now, but as time marches on, it's going to become much, much more competitive.
Great question. I mean, the first and foremost thing is we already feel like we're ahead of the curve. We feel like our voice is there. But it's the continual research that we're doing, the investments we're making into actually the area that I'm focused most on, which I think is something that I even read today on the community, is the ability to understand emotion, to be able to speak with more tonality. These are the areas that I'm making my bets on and what you guys will benefit from to keep at the forefront. I think the more human-like and the more intelligent that these conversations become, the easier it becomes for people to adopt it, and that removes a massive friction.
Now, a question speaking about that, are you recommending to actually let people know it is an AI bot versus trying to pretend that it's a real human? Because, I mean, most people can kind of figure it out, and if they're not, it seems kind of like a little bit out of integrity personally.
Mark, all of our AI, when we build the demos, actually introduce themselves as virtual assistants. And if they're asked the question, is this AI, respond ethically correctly by yes, we are an AI bot. So we do not hide that. That is a personal choice that Thinkrr has made, that we want to be up in the forefront of that. We do not want to be part of any kind of scheme of trying to fool people that this is AI. I know there are other people that have let that be the community's choice, but we've decided not to at this point in time.
Okay, no, that's good. The last question I have is, and it was brought up a little bit earlier, if we have some quote standard AI prompting skills and we go to Ava, can there be a document or some training on how to quote prompt it without really prompting it? Because I almost feel like I need to unlearn what I've learned, and I don't have the tools and the skill set to know how to actually steer it and make it do certain things. Where with prompting, I can be very accurate and deliberate about what I want it to do.
100%. Because we talked earlier today that's on its way out. But also included in that is a very, very deep and resourceful help documentation that we'll be launching very soon as well.
Okay.
We'll give you those tips.
Sure. Yeah. I'm just thinking aloud here. It would be nice to have even just copy and paste sentences or paragraphs. It's like, okay, if we want it to pre-qualify somebody, here's the framework. Change these keywords or whatever. So like if we had sort of like a track to run on and we didn't have to like play with it and figure it out ourselves for, sort of the most common use case scenarios, that would be super helpful.
So, where we're taking this, Mark, first is like just the documentation that you can at least go read and learn. But our vision for this is for you to come into Ava and just verbally communicate what you wanted to build and say, I want the best of this. And now auto select the right framework for me, build out my script, and then I can view it, test it, and tweak it as I need to. And really done with the power of voice, right? That's what we envision, and that's what we're working to create. And actually, it's in our roadmap.
Okay, that's cool. But even teaching us how to ask it that verbally in the proper format so that it's the most efficient and effective. Awesome.
I think I'm going to just ask you to come over and we'll do it one afternoon together.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate the question again.
My six setters that we've got so far, they typically we want them to make like 200 dials a day. How many calls can one AI bot make, say per hour, per day type of thing right now?
I mean, we literally call 250 people in 10 minutes prior to a conference. So you can call quite a few people. It depends on the usage, right? But
depends on how many answer, obviously. But
yeah. Well, I mean, that was what I was going to ask you. Like, how many calls, meaning how many numbers can you dial versus how many people pick up? Really depend on the latter, right? But
I could probably put 20,000 leads in there. So
yeah, go to town with it. We've had people do that, and they've got those. I think I've seen people do 5,000 calls in an hour.
Really, 5,000 calls in an hour? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because we've got a place out in Cebu, out in the Philippines, which is right in the heart of the call center capital of the world. Yes. So once we knock this down here for this, I mean, there's 20-story buildings all across the street here that from top to bottom are nothing but call centers.
Let's even say it's 5,000 people in a day. That's way more than the 200 a day your setters are doing, right? So
yeah, no, it's like 4 or 5 times. Yeah, that's right? Amazing. So
yeah.
Okay, cool, man. Thanks a lot.
I'm definitely curious about hearing about how this can be mass marketed to bigger agencies and how it can be lucrative on the front, but also on the back end. It's something that I'm continually trying to internalize. I'm sure
go to town, Rahul.
All right, I'm just gonna kind of freestyle and go fast a bit. But when you mentioned agencies, based on what you're saying, I would do the affiliate program play, just because they're gonna also want their unlimited sub accounts. If you sell it to an agency and then they want unlimited sub accounts, they'll be under yours, so they won't have any control. So the affiliate link is going to be the best play. That's 40% for anybody that uses their link, does the content, does what you need to do to be able to stand out. Right now with the affiliate program, it's open season. Somebody mentioned Blue Ocean. This doesn't get any, this is like Hawaii blue right now. Like you can there's so much opportunity at the moment because you guys will be the first movers of our first group of clients. So we're really kind of ready to pop on that. So that's from the affiliate play. Now, in terms of the clients and the direct clients, that is low-hanging fruit that you built up in the database for up until now. The first thing, if I was in that situation where I had a database, I don't necessarily want to call every single person all at the same time. Just let your virtual or voice assistant do the heavy lifting for you to do a database reactivation with voice. Bring them back. This thing with when you connect it to your calendar ID, it will know how to automatically book you on appointments. So for example, when we ran an ad campaign to our our booking bot, it just was rapid fire booking for us. We'd never seen such a thing unless we took the clock back to 2008 to 2010. Like booked appointments were coming in hot at $25. That's literally over a decade ago of what you can really get. And if you've run ads long enough, you know what I'm talking about. Today, you may get lucky with $100, $150 bookings, depending on the segment and the audience. But this can definitely take care of that. But the low hanging fruit is our databases. A lot of people have 20,000 people. I know Steve had mentioned dialing a lot of people at volume with a call center. If you have that kind of volume, you can deploy this very quickly, and you can call as many times as you feel like is comfortable based on your audience. But you can literally, like Mason A, Mason Armbruster. I mean,
Mace.
Mace Dog, a tiny list of 400 people, 9 sales in 48 hours. All he did was just didn't dick around. He actually implemented it, right? So some of the questions are really, really good, but also they're future-based questions once the feature is available. My suggestion is focus on what you have right now, implement just the simple stuff. The complex stuff comes in due time. Because like I want it all. I want every voice. I want LeBron James. I want Shaquille O'Neal. I want it all, but I'm not waiting for it. If it comes, it comes. Right now, this is like it replaces the cost that I'm wasting. I've spent millions of dollars on ads. I have leads that we probably never call more than twice. Now I can call them 13 times it takes to what data tells me. Sales happen in the 5th to 11th touch point. That's just fact, right? So now I can mop up the backlog that we've constantly also ignored as an organization, because now we have infinite scale versus like from our type of business setup as marketing agencies. Hire the setters, train the setters, neutralize their accents, train them again. They quit, hire another person, fire them. Now you're underwater. Now you take your own leads. Now you wiped out your whole call center. Now what do? Start over. I burned out. Right. So that's like what we live. That's our truth right now. We've all felt that. I've felt that 1,000 times. But this solves that. It's just exciting when you have a cutting edge technology that can just do the dog work for you, from monetizing your leads, at least booking them. Number 2, following up with them. Number 3, I can take inbound calls and qualify them should you want them qualified. Or you go broad based, come one, come all. If you're a human and you speak English or whatever language your AI does, get them on your calendar. Have a 10-minute call instead of a 30-minute call when you don't know who they are, so you can feel them out with a salesperson or whatever your setup is. If you do webinars, have call your whole database to invite them. Call them right before, 15, 20 minutes before to attend. Call them after the webinar to book a sales call or the next logical step. So what you have right now is just infinite, not just for you, but for the people who have those kind of business setups, realtors, lenders, Tony Robbins coaching, whatever, like you name it, they can use it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. Rahul. I have one.
Yeah.
Yes,
Let
sir.
me just go one last thing and then ask that question. So there's 4 things that I've been telling everybody. Number 1, get it in your business. Number 2, use it right away. Or let me go that as part of 1. 1, get it in your business and use it. 2, make sure you have your demo set up so you can demonstrate it, so they can hear, feel, and touch it. So you can send it, post it everywhere you want, like on your profiles, on your email blast, text blast, etc. It builds your database for you. When you set up the bot, they'll be able to experience the use cases. And then also on the back end, it can follow up 7 or 10 minutes later to auto call them a second time to also book them back on your calendar to take you up on your offer. Those are things we can do right now. Then go get one client and get that one client to use it properly. Get their database imported, do a DBR campaign, have them play with it, have them giggle about it. Once they're sticky on it, game on. Go get the next 10, 20, 30 people over the next time, whatever timeline you're on.
Sweet.
It's that
Now,
simple. Just don't think, do, right? Nike slogan.
Yes,
Anybody
sir.
know the little thing that they call it? Nike's slogan. Type it in the chat, because that's what we're going to tell you to do. On to question number 2 for you, Brian.
Yes. In terms of the qualification, is there a way to incorporate multiple calendars? The way I do it now, I have, like, if someone is qualified, I want to get them on a one-on-one. If someone is not qualified, I want to get them to a group call. Right. So I can do like a lower value something or something like that. Is there any way to either book the qualified people and maybe send out a link to people who are, or what type of do we have, like, any sort of endpoint to say these people aren't qualified? Do something different than get them in front of me one-on-one.
I'm going to defer to you, Mohan. So the question, just summarizing the question, unqualified people, like I'm just going to speak and then Mohan, you validate. If the voice AI is just going to go in and book and just saying, hey, we want to get you on a call, it's been a while. Let's just say that's the script for whatever reason. Then we go like that will automatically hook into that calendar ID that's just like goes to a shorter call. Now, if you have a qualifying voice agent going out, then I would think theoretically it can go to a different calendar ID, which is like, all right, this is the baller people. This is the Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross, Lareeds, right? We want those to go for a longer Zoom call. Am I explaining that correct, Mohan?
Yeah, so we have the opposite a little bit. We do have qualification scheduler, but I like the way you're thinking, Rahul, which we can easily modify that to do. But at the moment, there's only one calendar that it books it on. And what it does allows you to ask your qualification questions or your disqualification questions or capture questions. So in other words, if you got your questions up front and you know that this is not somebody you want to bother booking a meeting with, you ask that up front. And if they answer in a certain way, like, hey, I want, think of the fitness gym, right? I want to call and go, hey, do you have any type of heart conditions? And then say yes. Well, sorry, unfortunately, we can't qualify and book that meeting for you for our offer right now because you have to be healthy, whatever the reason is, right? That's absolutely out of the box. And you look at the qualification scheduler, that's in the box. Then the cool thing is the next question, if they say, no, I'm completely fit and healthy. Then you go, well, what are your fitness goals? That's something we call a capture question, where you can ask an open-ended question, capture that information, and now before you have that meeting with the person, you already know what their fitness goals are. All right?
Okay.
So that's a very, very powerful scenario that we built for you. And again, it's as simple as just coming in and putting in your questions.
Sweet. I want to definitely try that out. And if there's any way that you can think of that it could perhaps do something else to or follow up or have like an endpoint to say that they're disqualified, because I can send out, automation or something like that. Hey, book your own self. I don't want to spend more time on it, but that would be awesome.
Yeah. So what you need to do is you just need to go look at the payload of the call. So you set up a trigger point inside of GHL.
Yes,
and
sir.
then you can set up your action based on how the call went, right? So you'll have sentiment analysis, right? Oh, shoot. Did I say that already? I did. Okay. Tomorrow you will have sentiment analysis.
What?
You'll be able to, I just keep on thinking these things are
That's awesome.
Yeah. So you'll have sentiment analysis. So you'll know whether the call went well, it's neutral, or like a positive sentiment, a neutral sentiment, and what we call a negative sentiment. And then you can develop your workflows and actions based on that. You can also get that transcript, the full transcript inside of and then you can go to town with GPT and extract whatever you want to. So you can say, hey, did this person actually, and you also know if a meeting was booked or not. And if the meeting wasn't, you can then put them into a different pipeline for a different type of follow-up. And yeah, like this is the advanced stuff that we haven't gotten to here yet, but that's what I want to start doing next week. Every alternating week, we're going to have the advanced conversations about here's what you can do and how you can build these really awesome type of workflows.
So you have the transcript that you're able to send from the
you can get that.
Great.
Yeah, loads of examples in your snapshots. Just go take a look at the anyone with a trigger point in it, like a meeting booked one. And if you look in the workflow, you'll see that I just add that to a note on the contact.
Cool. Thank you very much. Thank you guys very, very kindly. Appreciate you. It's awesome what you're doing. Yep.
Thank you.
I know everybody's talking about outbound and volume. And one of the things that I'm working on, and we were talking with a couple of these groups, and they have literally over 100,000 people that we need to reach out and ingest data on. What is the capacity for inbound especially if we're connecting to GHL, and volume as far as throughput? Because our concern is if we get to that true enterprise level, is there enough throughput that GHL can handle that and manage that data?
About creating more throughput for you in that case.
But
the technology to scale up to that level is there, and the concurrency levels that you would need, we could support. There'd be additional cost for that, Scott, because that's obviously a large load, but absolutely from a tech part, we could scale up to that. Yeah.
Well, I'm not, yeah, the cost part is more, I understand that, working in those worlds of upping throughput and costs. Last question is, I know, we had talked last week and the call was great about, direct connections, API connections to like Service Titan and things like that. Any thought of an open AI connection to you guys that where we could connect to our own microservices and do things where we're not using GHL, we're writing our own technology, but we want to connect and pull the data from you guys?
Well, that would just be an API integration, right? You just want basically.
Correct. It would be, we want to pull from you to on the microservices that we build ourselves because we would have our own infrastructure and put it up.
We haven't published like a Swagger file of our APIs intentionally because it's still in this kind of like something that we use internally.
Okay.
If that's something you're looking for, we can talk, Scott. But we would
Even even if it's a private, done thing where we could do that, that'd be, it may not be open, but there are.
Integrate it to do that. So the closest we're getting to exposing that is something that we're working on, which is to integrate this into like a make.com or a Zapier. Probably make first.
Make, please.
Yeah, where you'll have these modules where you can then invoke an outbound call from the module, right? So that's where we're heading, and it'll probably be outbound first and then inbound. Perfect.
Well, as usual, I appreciate you. Your help was incredible. The demo we did this week based on you and Rosa's help was phenomenal.
Portuguese?
Let's get Spanish and French out first, then we'll talk Portuguese.
Okay, I got a hotel ready to pay me money. It just happened to be in Brazil, and
wow,
it was weird as hell. I mean, it just came up today, so I said, "Well, I'll ask Mohan."
So here's the answer to all of the language questions. I'll say it on video so everybody knows. Once we've done one language, it gets easier to do the next ones. Okay. So
yeah, I mean, we're
very close to launching Spanish. And if you talk to Antoine, he knows we're very close to launching French as well. So these are weeks away for these two languages, not months. And then we can take requests for other languages. I'm sorry, Chris, I can't promise you Portuguese at this moment. But I'll put it on the list.
No, you don't have to. I just asked. I mean, the person who owns the hotel happens to be my VC, so I might ask it again, but
Got the message, Chris. Hey, Amir, how are you?
Hey, Mohan. So some of my questions are regarding languages and translations and things like that. I guess is my understanding correct? This is all based on OpenAI and ChatGPT for now, right? The LLM that's being used in the backend.
We use multiple LLMs. Definitely using ChatGPT, but we're using also some Cloud, some Mistral, some other things as well.
Okay. So, I mean, out of the box, most of these speak at least like 48 languages, whatnot. I've used them all the time, switch, because I only speak 2 languages, but for the rest, I rely on AI to do a great job of translating and everything. What's elementally the problem? Like, why would you need to create like Spanish or French or any other language separately and independently? I mean, couldn't it?
Well, first of all, you're talking about translation on ChatGPT versus what we're doing, right? So what we're doing is we're actually working also on the voice level where it depends on accents and also interpretation. The other thing that we do differently is we do extraction, right? So all of the extraction and understanding things correctly, then the translations we need to do. And then add on top of that we're creating a product experience for you guys to use. All of those things, that's why I said once we do one, it's a lot easier to add the other ones. But we also are very much cautious of just, the minute you put 20 languages out there, guess what you're supporting?
20 languages.
20 languages, yeah. I'm going to be careful because I have to have the team and the capacity and the people that can actually understand how to solve those problems. So it's a choice, not just a matter of the technology and the technical capabilities to do that.
Noted. Yeah, because the use cases that I'm thinking about, we already had a conversation about the medical field, the health field.
Yeah,
And
how'd that go?
so,
I didn't hear back from you after that.
man, it's been crazy busy this couple of weeks.
Cool.
So, you know, I was thinking about maybe a medical office calling their patients, right? And in their database, they they do have a field for the native language of these patients. They speak, some of them speak Farsi,
Yep.
Persian, Vietnamese. I mean, they got, this is
Open
LA,
you
man.
more
Got,
languages is going to be a big help. Yeah, I understand.
right. So, I guess ultimately the goal would be at some time in the future, perhaps the AI would be intelligent enough and sensitive enough to, or maybe even get in a database reactivation. It can just pull that language field from the database to know what language it should be talking with them, and or maybe if that field is not available, it can perhaps ask a question, or maybe see and detect a, let's say, Spanish accent, and maybe say, hey, you speak, would you like to switch to Spanish? That's that kind of intelligence that would be making their lives
Oh yeah,
easier. So
and I don't know if I gave the wrong impression. We're absolutely going to do it. It's just a question of when. Yeah,
got it.
and as you can tell, we're already starting to roll out different languages, so it's on our roadmap. I just can't
Oh,
promise
you
you.
guys are fantastic, man. You're really getting this shit done.
We're working as hard as we can. There's a lot of things, and again, I want to go back to because Mark's got his hand up, so I'm going to give him props. I had a great conversation with Mark. It's about building an experience, right? And there's lots of parts of it. There's the technology part of it. There's the onboarding part of it. There's the ongoing support that needs to be presented. So we are making choices where to put our time. Right now, for me, it's most important to make sure that you all are out there and able to go and do what you need to do. And that's why, working with Cody and Rahul on making sure that the strategy is a big part of what we also provide to you all. Working with Reza to make sure that he's got everything he's on the technology side, and then taking the feedback. I take lots of calls to make sure we understand how we can improve our process. So
Right.
that's part of all of what we're doing, including adding languages and things like that.
Yes, absolutely. I appreciate it. One last question.
Yeah.
Again, I'm also very active in the life insurance industry, and
Yeah. Okay, cool.
yeah, and I had before Ava, I had created a mind map, a blueprint of what I wanted to do with text and everything else. But now, this is a game changer. I have to revamp, do the whole thing, including, it just makes it a lot easier. I noticed that in the membership area, in the group, in the community, there was a thing about WFG, the World Financial Group. I'm assuming that's what. I don't really know anything about it yet. I haven't had a chance to take a look at it yet. But is that something that touches on about recruiting and or stuff like that?
They're a big organization. They're part of Transamerica. And they're
Right.
part of the niches that I have been focused on for a long time. And you're most welcome to join me in that.
Yes, and absolutely, because a group that I'm a part of is right on par with WFG. They just have a different name, and I'm just wondering that maybe I can turn things around and just use what's already been built and apply it there for time to market.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Yeah, is that something that I would be able to do on my own, or is that something that I would probably need to do to get done
Well, I
with you
mean,
guys?
while here's how I would answer that question. All of the voice calling, what the capabilities of it, you'd have to build your own workflows and your own, snapshots and all that stuff. But I can definitely talk strategy with you, and we can talk about that on these calls, or we can set up one-on-ones, can tell you what's working, what's not working. So you can definitely build upon that. It's no reason to start from scratch.
Right.
But obviously I've built my own IP with a lot of what I've built in terms of the snapshots and the automations. But again, more than willing to share what's working, what's not.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, fantastic, man. I mean, we need to have another session. And part of the thing that we had in our last conversation was that I needed to jump in and, get Thinkrr.ai and apply it, and that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So I'm taking your advice.
Exactly. Really excited to see you here. Actually, I'm so happy to see you. Actually. All right,
Thank
Amir.
you.
The outbound voice AI is fantastic. The one issue is all the tests that I've seen, my phone flags them all as spam. Is there a process or a procedure where you can somehow whitelist it and add the name? And is there a resource on where and how to do that?
Yeah, I'll send you some of the copies. It's all on Twilio. And also it's called, I think, called Stir or something like Stir, not Shaken.
Shaken, stirred, yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Because I mean, if we can get them answered, we're obviously going to get better results. And then along that, are some of you already doing this where you send a text first and maybe you get them to reply, yes, are you okay for a call right now? So you could use text to kind of vet their availability, and then on the reply, trigger the outbound voice AI.
Yeah.
Because they're going to get the text before they're going to answer the phone.
I'll answer for myself. It depends on the business, right, that you're using it for, the use case. So with some businesses, what we've done is we've actually sent out mass emails to let people know that an AI agent will be calling, so that people are not surprised the first time they hear it. Definitely, we use text and email to let people know. Like, for example, on our Facebook lead campaign, we'll send out a text before we call them.
Okay, super. I mean, that kind of makes sense, right? Because the goal is for them to pick up the phone.
Yeah. I was in a conversation, Mark, with a local BC real estate agent, another one, not the one I was talking about before, who kind of role played how he does a lot of his calls. And what was very interesting in that particular case is he didn't text before, he wanted to text after. So it's also something to consider. And he wanted to text based on what was being conversed on the call. So, and almost wanted to say, stay on the call. And then text them and make sure they actually got the text and acted on it. So that's also something that we're supporting. I talked a little bit about this new scenario we're launching in about a week or so, and that's going to have that capability to do exactly that.
Interesting. That just gave me an idea. So is it currently possible to have the system detect and jam the phone line to make sure it delivers a voicemail?
That's what we're working on. That exactly.
Okay, because that would be cool.
I don't know if I would describe it as jam, but like you can stay on the call.
Well, you have to tie up the line in case they try to answer it to make sure you get to the voicemail, right? So whatever that technology is, but if we can force a voicemail and we can use custom fields out of GHL or some other database to customize the voice message that's left and then follow it up with a text, even if they never listen to the voicemail, they know they got one, and you've kind of opened the door.
I see what you mean. Yeah. Let's map that out. I like that. Cool. The answer is let's explore.
I'm just reading the text. Yeah, good point. To send a text from the same number, you've got to A2P it.
Yeah, that's Augustine who said that. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for spending the time to watch that amazing training. Like I mentioned previously, my intention is for you not just to watch that training, but if you got something out of it, if you think this information is useful, I want you to continue that journey with us. And you can do that in a couple of ways. One, I want you to smash that subscribe button so that you get notified every single time we put another one of these out, which will be at minimum once to twice per week. The other thing I want you to do is go ahead and click that next video right there beside you so that you can dive in and get shit done. Hope to see you out there.